for the awkwardness. Kids, I was trying to find the record button. This is my friend Sam. He has so kindly volunteered his time to come and talk to us about French because, as you all know, I am not great at French. So Sam, tell us why you are an expert in French, or tell us kind of your background in your French education.
Yeah, so hi everybody, my name is Sam Olson. Ripe age of 27, and I've been studying French since I was in 5th grade, all because my dad worked for a French company since I was young for about 30 years, made his way up the ranks, finished up at CFO. And when I was a kid, I just wanted to be like my dad. And so I started French when I was in 5th grade as soon as I could, started a little bit early, took it all the way through junior high, high school, and college past the minimum requirement, because at that point I just discovered that I liked it. Eventually I figured out that my dad actually didn't speak a lick of French at all, and then he got by entirely on English, but it was kind of too late at that point. So here we are. I also took that, as I said, through college, at which point I did study and finish with a French degree, as well as a vocal performance degree. Yep. I studied at McAllister and Luther colleges. And then I also studied international business with a finance emphasis. Today, I use my French at work. I am a strategic account executive, AKA sales, for a big tech firm that's based here in Minneapolis called SPS Commerce. I head and assist with our international sales, primarily with French speaking countries, mostly Quebec, not Quebec, Quebec. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. So there's that. So I would say I use French probably about 60% of the time in my job. While I can often get away without using it to some extent, it's really helpful for when I'm navigating the lower levels of an organization. Fewer people know any English, so that can just be really handy. Plus, to make people feel appreciated when they're working with a global company. Of course, globalism and multiculturalism go hand in hand, making them feel like we're speaking to them in their own language and understand their own culture, and so on and so forth. So, how's that?
So is there anything about French that really drew you in as a language, or is there anything that super excites you about French as a language?
I mean, obviously it's a very romantic sounding language. Definitely a big old sap, no, but I don't know. I just thought I wanted to do something different besides Spanish. I actually have Spanish heritage, so I did have that in my ear from a very young age. But I also learned that I pick up languages really, really fast. So French just seemed like the natural next step. Because of French, one thing that's cool is because it's in that romance language category. I can understand probably about 90% of Spanish because of my French comprehension, even if I can't always reply, because I could maybe only reply to about 20% of things. But I at least know that if you're talking bad about me behind my back in Spanish, I understand it. So I'm watching you guys.
I'll watch my back then, or I'll watch what I say in Spanish then. Haha, just kidding. I'm terrible at language. Yay.
It's okay. She's good at math and I'm awful at math. So, you know, we all have our Achilles heel.
I'm really good at math. Watch out.
Yeah. and just as a funny note too, I did study finance. So why I made that choice, you know, I don't know, but it comes through.
I tell students this all the time, but I will tell you kids directly, you can do anything with a business degree. And when I went into college, I never took the business majors seriously because they tended to be maybe not always the smartest kids, but pretty much the business kids in college are making the most money now. So don't make fun of business students. And if you're someone that doesn't know what you want to do, go into business because you have infinite options with a business degree. You do not have infinite options with a music education degree.
Yeah, and I would say that that's probably coming from experience, but I will say that she's right. I mean, you can I had no intentions of going into business right away. I actually started out as a music major, but I did end up coming to the dark side of business, and you can definitely kind of choose your own adventure, which is something that you'll appreciate more and more as you get older, especially in times like these with pandemic and everything going on. Job security isn't always super high, especially when you factor in something like speaking another language, for which I actually make additional money for at my job by a few $1,000s. It's worth it to have those kind of skills and to have something like business where it's just a little bit more moldable. You know, every business needs business people. So you can quote, every business needs business people. Tell your friends.
Every business. Well, I mean, I tell students this all the time. If you want to work for Netflix, you can do that with a business degree. You don't have to have a film degree to work at Netflix. If you want to work for Coca-Cola corporate, you can do that with a business degree. You don't have to know anything about the food and beverage industry. If you want to work for UGG Boots, you don't need to know anything about fashion. You need to know about business. So think of any.
If you want to be an influencer, it's still really helpful to know how to run your own business, because what is an influencer but basically marketing your own self? So if you have those additional skills, accounting, finance, business management, definitely super helps.
For sure.
Of course, just looking really awesome like me too.
Sam always looks very fly. I mean, I look like a dummy next to him. Alrighty, we're gonna jump into French. No more platitudes. French time. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen here. While I start sharing my screen, Sam, if you want to talk to us about maybe some basics of French before, or that affect all of our French singing.
Yep, French in a general sense. I'll start with French is the language of love, and or la langue d'amour, as we would say in French. And for that reason, the best French is spoken not through the slightly wider positioning that you would have with English, but actually better through a kiss. Slightly more, not out here, but round it a little bit more through here. So a good French pronunciation would be through here. Here. Not that. We're not coming from down here. No, we want to keep it close, keep it tight. And then in general, you know, you're going to, I wouldn't be intimidated by the various vowel or combinations that you see throughout the song. Most of the time, when you do see these multiple vowels strung together, they still only make one sound. It's not like Japanese where you would pronounce every single vowel as one sound. So for example, like the first word that we see is s'asseoir. That's literally just 2 syllables, s'asseoir. But as you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 vowels in that word. If it was Japanese, it would be s'asseoir. So we don't want to do that. It would just be s'asseoir. So don't be intimidated by those. Most of the time, if you do see a consonant at the end of the word, it would not be pronounced unless followed by an E. Or a certain.
Oh, whoa. I'm screwing that one up. Okay, tell that again so I can type this into text.
Or as we millennials say it louder for the people in the back. Or the shout emoji. Let's see here. That would be just, most of the time you would not pronounce a consonant at the end of a word in French unless it's followed by an E.
Vocalized unless followed. Oh.
So for example, the second word that we see is T-O-U-S, which would be pronounced tu. But if it had an E on the end, it would be tuze.
Okay, so this I think I think the fourth word in, or third to fourth word in, we're already getting an error. So I was listening to different recordings of this. We nailed the pronunciation of s'asseoir, tu, de. Now what do we do with this? Because I've heard some recordings where they pronounce that.
So you could elide it. You could say It's rare that you would elide an X, I feel like, in my experience, but you could potentially say s'asseoir tous deux au bord. But you could also say s'asseoir tous deux au bord. I would probably, and in that situation, just because I'm not certain in order to preserve the purity of the French, I would say you probably wouldn't want to elide it in that situation. So it would be de, and then you would put a glottal stop in between that and the next word. So it would be de, de au bord.
De au bord. Okay, so if I'm going to sing this, s'asseoir tous deux au bord, and then du flot qui passe. Okay.
Yep. Or if you wanted to do the glottal stop in there, it'd be like s'asseoir tous deux au bord. But you could do it.
Okay. Oh, I think I did. Oh, sorry. S'asseoir tous deux au bord du flot. Oh, I just rolled the R. S'asseoir tous deux au bord du flot qui passe.
Yep, I would maybe reference some other recordings on that one. I honestly don't know what the best
Okay.
would be in that scenario. So.
Okay, cool. And then, so this is kind of, so I was chatting with Sam about the poetry of this one. So we have passe, right?
Correct.
And then it comes back at us with passe.
Correct.
With the R. And that's going to happen at pretty much every time. So kind of the musical structure of this song, because I'm more familiar with this song. Ce soir tout back. Ce soir tout au bord du flot qui passe. Then it always has this little echo of le vois passer. So that's what we labeled as passage A.
Perfect. And I would say as well, typically, and 90% of the 98% of the time that you see ER in French, it would be pronounced as A if it's word final, aka at the end of the word. So in the situation of passé, it's not passer, it would be passé. And I'm even butchering it myself. I'm using an American A when we definitely want more of a pa, so passé.
Passé. And is that nasalized or not?
No.
No, okay.
No, just softer. It's less, it would be less nasal actually.
Okay. Pass.
Yeah, passé, not passé, passé.
Passé. Okay. Okay, so we've already had these two words. Tout de.
Yep, tout de.
De. Okay, I was saying this one wrong. I was saying do. De. Tout de. Okay, sorry, keep going.
Yep, when confused, or if you're ever confused, that is just a schwa, but if you're having a hard time with it, it's just like if I was to elbow Jill in the side, what sound would she make? De. Tout de. And then that would
right, so when we sing that, it should sound tout de, tout de, right?
Yep, obviously keeping, healthy pronunciation or healthy positioning and everything. Yep, but yeah, tout de.
Awesome. Okay. So what's coming at us next?
That would be si.
Si.
Yep, si. You could put like a shadow L there if you really wanted to, but you really wouldn't pronounce it at all. Si. I would just say like an IPA would be a C and an I.
Oh,
or okay. C, like I see you.
C. E. Okay. Oh, okay. C.
Yep, and then si glisse.
Glisse.
And this would elide. Si glissant.
Glissant. Yeah, we talked about that one, and then there's another one in this phrase as well.
And that's going to be nasalized, by the way. So se glisse en nuage.
Nuage.
Yep, the French is so romantic sounding because it is a very fluid language. The words tend to flow together to sound like one word. It is deliberately designed that way. So you wouldn't want to read it as we do in English by kind of blocking the words out. This one would actually be best read as "s'il glisse un nuage."
S'il glisse un nuage.
Yep, "s'il glisse un nuage," almost like it's one word.
S'il glisse un nuage. And then I think this might align as well, nuageant.
Yep, that's correct. I do it so naturally I didn't even notice, but that's correct. S'il glisse un nuage dans l'espace.
It's funny how elisions are so common in French. They're also incredibly common in Spanish language songs, but they don't happen in English. Like we hardly ever elide two vowels and like combine two words on one syllable in English singing. I think that's something that's so fascinating about Romance languages that just doesn't happen in English. Like I don't know if I've ever in my life seen an elision in an English piece. Crazy.
That is because English has highly Germanic roots. Where
True.
you not elide quite as often, if ever.
All right, so starting here, we've got to de, s'il glisse un nuage dans l'espace, and then le voix glisser.
Le voix glisser.
Glisser.
That A is going to be very in the same space as the Canadian beauty, eh? That sort of thing. But you don't want to have the diphthong J glide in IPA at the end. So you don't want the A. Don't chew it. Just A.
A.
C'est glissé. Le voix glisser.
Voix glisser.
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay, let me clear these out for us, and so I can slide over.
I will say the text for this one is much more fun to pronounce.
It's much more what?
It's much more fun to pronounce. It's so French.
It's so French, and it has all of these different like poetic plays on words that I absolutely love. Okay, okay, can I guess this next one? Let's see how bad I am. Okay. À l'horizon s'y fume un toit de chaume.
Chaume, much darker.
Chaume.
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 Mm-hmm.
Le voix fumée.
American O, not or less American W diphthong at the end. Chaume.
Okay, chaume.
Mm-hmm.
Chaume. Chaume. Le voix fumée. Yes. Okay, so do you want to talk through that just in case I missed something?
Yep. So slower first. À l'horizon. And now we do have that French R in its entirety now. I think maybe the first time where it would be an issue. So we're not going to do the American R, that's too piratey. We're not going to do the Spanish R or flipped Latin R or almost one D. Nope, we're going to do, which would be a voiced uvular R. So that's going to be R, R. So that would be à l'horizon. À l'horizon.
I think that's written like this in IPA. Okay. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's that. Okay.
So à l'horizon, s'il fume un toit de chaume. À l'horizon, s'il fume un toit de chaume. Le voix fumé, and that's going to be a U umlaut. So le voix fumé.
Okay.
And we do have an elision here at aux alentours.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I was doing that. I was doing the Z, right. Okay, so aux aux alentours.
Si quelques fleurs embaument.
Embaume. Okay, quelques.
Yep, quelques.
Quelques. Okay, so as far as I feel like the k is really aspirated sounded. Quelques.
Yep. And the part if you keep your kiss pronunciation, you will naturally aspirate a little bit more.
Okay.
Because you're putting more air through a tighter space. So si quelque, yep, exactly. A little bit more aspiration there. Good catch. Si quelques fleurs embaument.
Embaume. And then where's the stress on this word? Beau.
Beau. Um, yeah, embalm. And in spoken French, you would barely even pronounce that last E on me. It's there and musically, especially because there's a quarter note value, but it would be embalm.
Okay, so
It would definitely embalm. Yeah.
Okay.
Because in French we flow, so embalm. Yep. And that one, don't be afraid of the elisions. So son embalmé.
Son. Oh, okay. So this is more of like a
Yep,
nasalized
Yep,
son.
Yep, son embalmé.
Son embaumé.
Yep, son embalmé.
Sorry. Son embaumé.
Yep.
Okay.
Son embalmé. Yep.
Okay. Sweet. Okay, let me clear out a little bit so I can move forward.
Absolutely not.
Oh. Okay, this next word, I never know. Entendre.
Yep, so in this situation, it's actually way easier than it's just way easier. And the reason for that is because we're going to take that RE at the end and we're going to drag it over to the following syllable to make entendre, which would be 2 syllables. So it lines up exactly with the values. Entendre pied.
Pied.
Okay. Entendre pied du sol. Du sol.
Sol. Okay, yeah, so it's like your soul. Okay, I'm going to note this in here quick.
Difference between the American soul and sol would again just be that American W difference we don't want. No W.
Yeah. Sol. Sol.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write it like that because I don't know how else to write that. Sol.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep, and one thing that you could do, because you don't, depending on who you are, the OU might make might make your brain think 2 vowels. One sound, sol. So what you could even do is just do a UHL.
Oh, okay.
That way we don't cheat it. Sol.
Sol. I'm laughing at the writing, how it looks. Looks like a kindergartner to it. Sorry guys, I don't
that looks like sol. Like sol, man.
Put it on a t-shirt and sell it for $300.
Don't ever do that again. Anyway.
Stop laughing at me, Sam. You guys, he always does this to me. He makes fun of me. Okay, so what is this?
Ooh.
Ooh, okay.
Hello.
Ooh, okay. Lo?
Lo.
Lo, yes. Okay.
It's like you take it's L-O. Just L, no W. We don't do W's.
Lo. Oh, okay, so this one is my favorite word of the whole thing. Say it, please.
You first.
Okay, I'm gonna try. You're gonna laugh so hard. Murmure?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Murmure. And if you want to keep correct, then you would keep your mouth in the French kiss to guarantee that you have the U umlaut. Because if you kiss, you cannot escape the U. Murmure. Murmure.
Yeah, and then it comes back.
You might think it looks dumb, but if you say it fast enough, or if you're singing, now it just looks like you're singing like a normal person. So, murmure.
Murmure. Okay, so what do we do? Okay, so you're saying murmure. What do we do with the fact that this is like pretty much 4 beats on this? Okay, yep. So we'll do that on schwa. All right, so I'm gonna go back to entendre. And I'm gonna just sing it in rhythm and tell me. Don't be mean. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start right on our favorite word. Murmure. I'm gonna try that again.
One thing you could
I'm gonna try that again based on the pause. Here we go. This one is so hard. Will you sing that? I just played it for you. So here's the melody.
I mean, I'm not going to work that hard here, but
Okay.
I would just say that would be entendre au pied du sol ou le murmure. And if you have a hard time repeatedly with the murmure and with chewing and with getting that out and driving the melodic line through to that sustained r through the bar, what you could do is you could do a little musical cheat and flip and take those R's and flip them instead to make murmure. Murmure.
Right?
Yep. Like yeah, because that pronunciation will naturally drive to that jump up and will better sustain the breath and musical line. So you could definitely do that in that situation. And if you need to, you could do that with any French R, depending on how you want to handle it. Because you could do entendre au pied du sol le murmure. That would be a more Latin pronunciation, but it is totally musically acceptable to do it. Or you could do the French pronunciation of entendre au pied du sol lo ou lo murmure. It depends, however you want to do it.
Okay. Maybe it'll come to me after I watch that the second time, but that didn't mean a whole lot to me right there.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it just depends on which R you want to pick and what your purposes are. So if you and the students are having a hard time, maybe musical idea, you could flip it. You could flip the R's instead. So entendre au pied du sol ou le mur.
Entendre au pied du sol le
Du sol ou l'eau. That would be something that I would practice, maybe repeatedly to yourself. Du sol ou l'eau. Du sol ou l'eau.
Okay.
That way you can get that.
Entendre au pied du sol ou le mur. Okay. Entendre au pied du sol ou le murmure. Okay, I screwed up the low. But other than that,
this is one that you'd want to work on with rhythm first, and then.
Entendre au pied du sol ou le murmure. Okay. Yes, I think I'm getting there.
Yep, and again, the pitfall in practicing a measure like that, especially when we have so many just notes and consonants in one phrase, is that we're going to want to drop the breath when we do have that sustained note at the end. So we are going to want to keep up the vocal energy there.
And then kind of like we were doing earlier, it's le murmure. Okay, sweet. All right, let's move on to the next phrase. Ne pas sentir. Okay, I'll let you go.
You barely need to say the R at the end of that. Ne pas sentir.
Oh, sentir. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Cool.
R is an afterthought.
Paul?
Yep.
Que ce?
Correct.
Rêve?
Rêve.
Rêve. Dure?
Rêve. Yep, dure.
Okay, so is it normally we just say rêve, but because we have a single note on it, do we say the?
Yes, correct. Okay. It would be just rêve, but in this case it's sung French, so rêve dure.
Okay, so ne pas sentir. Okay, ne pas sentir tant que ce rêve dure. Yeah. All right, let me put this together a little better. Ne pas sentir tant que ce rêve dure. Okay.
Well done. And fun thing that the composer did in this situation, without even probably realizing it, is that on that lovely interval that sounds oh so dissonant to our Western trained ears, he did change the tempo to 66.
Oh, that's me. I'm
Oh,
speaking.
well, you did it. Well, either
So
way.
all the different tempo changes in here are me to provide some sort of rhythmic rubato in it because computers don't know how to do rubato. So all of these different, sorry, let me X out of this quick. All of these different tempo changes that you're seeing are me trying to teach the computer how to do rubato. Otherwise it'd be and that's boring.
Understood. Either way, you made the devil's number on that lovely interval. So.
Oh, funny. I didn't even think about that. What does this word mean?
I believe in that situation it would be like hard or difficult, but
Oh, okay.
on that one.
And then this is temps.
Yep, the time. Le temps.
Le temps duré.
Yep, le temps duré.
Oh, yes. I'm doing so good. Okay. This, no idea. Go for it.
Mais n'apportant de passion profonde.
Profonde.
N'apportant de passion profonde.
N'apportant de passion profonde.
Mais n'apportant de passion profonde.
Profonde. Awesome. Oh, what do we do with this? What is going on here?
What indeed looks like a lot, as I said at the beginning. It ain't. It is just ka. K-H. Ka. Casadore.
Casadore. All right, so. Okay. Mais n'apportant de passion profonde. Casadore. Yeah? Okay. Alrighty, and then, oh, sans nu.
Nul. Yep, sans nul. Sans nul souci. Sans
Oh,
nul.
okay. Is this one umlauted? Nu?
Nul. Sans nul. Sans nul souci. Sans nul souci. Technically, no. You're right.
Okay.
Sans nul souci.
Okay, not umlauted. Sans nul souci. Okay, sorry, keep going. My bad.
Sans nul souci des querelles du monde.
Okay, so no S.
Querelles du monde.
Sans nul souci des querelles du monde. Du. Oh, like Café du Monde.
Exactement. Comme ça. Exactly like that.
Of the world. Okay. So sans nul souci de créer. Try this. Do this one more time for me, please.
Yep. Sans nul souci des querelles du monde. So sans nul souci des querelles du monde.
It sounds like you're putting the stress on C on souci.
Yep.
Is that correct? Okay. Sans nul souci de querelle du monde. Querelle. Could this get its own note?
Yep.
Okay. No S here. Querelle du monde. And then
That one you might want to double check. I believe it would be des querelles, but it could also, it is because we have a double L. They just split it up funny.
Okay.
But, yep, so we're good there. Des querelles du monde.
Querelle du monde. And then what do we do with this S right here?
You light it.
Light it, okay.
Les ignorer.
Oh, whoa. Okay, let me try this again. Les ignorer. Okay, that's the best.
And that's
Les
like the-
ignorer.
Yep, and if you're having trouble with that, think lasagna. Les ignorer, les ignorer.
Okay, so we have sans nul souci de querelle du monde, les ignorer.
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Want to talk us through starting at, is this A?
Yep, A, like beauty, eh?
A. I think something that confuses me about French is that when it's ET, it's A, but I feel like any other time you have just E and another consonant, it's
Yep, it depends on where the E falls in the word and what the consonant following it. But
Okay.
it means and. So anytime you see that just on its own, it will always be a.
Cool. All right, so what's next?
Seul.
Seul.
UH. Kind of like a schwa, but less, not too dark, but it is a schwa. A seul. So a seul, tout deux, devant. Not devant. Easy mistake. Not devant, devant.
Devant.
Et seul, tous deux, devant, tout ce qui lasse. When spoken, that would lie to be tout ce qui lasse, but in this situation, it would just be tout ce qui lasse.
So if you're speaking it, you'd say tout ski?
Yep.
Okay. And then sans se lasser.
Yep, sans se lasser.
Sans se lasser. So you would put stress on se.
Sans se lasser. Yeah, sans se lasser. Yeah, it would. I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily emphasis, but you wouldn't drop it. Sans se lasser.
Okay. So hold on. Brain, start functioning. Le sol, tout devant que silence, sans se laisser. Oh boy, sans se lasser. Better?
Yep. Sans se lasser.
Sans se lasser. Okay. Let me clear out these quick.
And you would, I mean, nitpicky, but you, instead of sans se lasser, less musical theater American. Sans se lasser.
Oh, see.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I mean by that Canadianism, and that's going to hold true for all those French ER pronunciations that are word final. So, sans se lasser. I'm not saying it to you. It would be sans se lasser.
See. Awesome. Okay. Sentir?
Yep, sentir.
Sentir. I'm learning.
Yep, this is a repetition, so you should know this one, but it'd be sentir l'amour devant tout ce qui passe. Except before we had tout ce qui lasse. Now it's just qui passe. Qui passe. I don't know the note there, but.
Oh, and I know since the last time I sang this one always threw me off. Point?
Yeah, point.
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 Mm-hmm. If we're doing Quebec French, it'd be point, but we're not. So point. Mm-hmm.
No, point.
More of an A, like AH idea, like aspirated AH.
Yeah.
If anything, you can almost argue that it would be like a dark A, like point.
Point.
Yep.
Point, but nasalized. Okay. Point.
Yep.
Passé.
Ne point passer. Ne point passer.
Ne point passé.
No T.
Right.
Don't insert the glottal stop. That is very Germanic. Ne point passer.
Ne point passé.
No T.
I didn't say it. Ne point.
You don't realize you're doing it. Ne point passer. It's like it's one word. Ne
Point passé.
Like don't even look at the T. Yep. Point pas.
Point pas.
Point passer.
Ne point passé.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's your German coming in. Kids, don't worry about that. That's just our German coming in.
Yeah. Okay. And then we just repeat what we already had.
Yep. Sentir l'amour devant tout ce qui passe, ne point passer.
Yay! We made it! Okay, here's the full poem. Let's read it for the kiddos.
Yep. So, au bord de l'eau. S'asseoir tous deux au bord d'un flot qui passe. Le voir passer, tous deux s'y glissent en nuage en l'espace. le voir glisser à l'horizon s'il fume s'il fume en toile de chaume, le voir fumer. Aux alentours, si quelques fleurs embaument, son embaumé, entendre au pied du sol, où l'eau murmurait, ne pas sentir tant que ce rêve dure. Le temps durait, mais s'apportant de passion profonde, car s'adorer, sans nous soucier des querelles du monde, les ignorer, et seuls, tous deux devant tout ce qui lasse, sans se lasser, sentir l'amour devant tout ce qui passe, ne point passer.
Yay! Okay, I have one quick question. When you said me, do we pronounce this S?
Nope.
Okay.
Word
Me
final
not
consonant.
plural?
I'm going to strike it unless there's an E following it,
Okay.
or an accent circumflex, which does not occur here. So don't worry about that rule.
Okay. So one quick question. I mean, we talked about pronunciation. What do you think is the point of all of this repetition, but in like a slightly different verb tense? It's a different verb tense, right? Like when we go from passe to passe, it's a different verb tense, right?
Yeah. So we would be going from like a first. Oh, now we're getting rusty. I think that's like a first person indicative. Just like that would be like the car, like the dog walks. So the dog walks now. Then going the line down, it would be like the dog walks, like in a general sense. So really, it's not so much about the meaning. I think so much is about how it feels as well as how it looks. Kind of how it plays out. That one's hard to explain, but that's definitely a poetic trick. Yeah, because you are saying like un flot qui passe, le voir passer. Tout douce glisse en nuage dans l'espace, le voir glisser. So like the words here that are rhyming are the ones that are often going to be like it goes every other line. So we have passe, l'espace, chaume, embaume, murmure, dure, profonde, monde, las, passe. And then on the in-between, on the shorter side, le voir passer, le voir glisser, le voir fumer, s'en embaumer, le murmurer, le temps durer, car s'adorer, les ignorer, sans se lasser, ne point passer. So it's actually really interesting now that I'm reading this just in French and actually dissecting it a little bit as a poem. I mean, it's very wistful if you were to just take the shorter lines. To watch it flow, to watch it glide, to watch it rise, to savor its sweetness. I mean, that's where the expression comes in the poem, because now like you described a scene, but then the following line is where the emotion comes in. So to sit together on the bank of a flowing stream, that's like to watch it flow. It's like
it's like you're meditating on something.
Yeah, when you smell a flower, you inhale, you enjoy it, but then you let it sink in. Same idea. So to sit together on the bank of a flowing stream, to watch it flow. Together, if a cloud goes by, or if a cloud glides by, to watch it glide. It's like it's an emphasis. It's making you hang on to a moment that is ephemeral. I'm not. I think
it's interesting too that I mean, obviously I don't know French, but like my interpretation of the translation is that like it's talking about what you're doing with the person, but it's actually focusing more on what's happening rather than like the person. And I guess I guess your students will have to choose kind of what that means. But I find that interesting about the poem. It's like, it's obviously some sort of love poem, but it's not necessarily about the love. It's like about what's happening outside of that. And maybe it's about like what happens together as you do that. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. I think it's almost like, it's like when for me, it would be like looking back on a memory. Like you see what you're doing and you're living in that moment, but then you kind of step outside yourself. I don't know about you, but in those really good moments in life, I'll almost like kind of step back and be like, man, this is awesome. Look at what's happening. And you almost like repeat what's happening in your head. To me, that's kind of what's going on here. It's like, you know, I'm, you know, for, I don't know, like a sports metaphor or something like that, but you could say, you know, I'm playing football with my friends. Wow, look at the crowd. Or wow, look, watch the ball go, or something like that. It's like the details that you want to remember. That's
awesome. Yay, this poem is fun. Thanks for helping us with our French pronunciation, but also our French language in general. I am terrible at French, so thank you for the help. I'm sure our students are going to appreciate it. Is there any final things you want to say about French before we stop recording here?
Well, the world needs more French francophone speakers. So don't be intimidated by it. Definitely go for it. Anyone can learn it. It just takes a little bit of practice. And because it is a less commonly spoken language, like compared to Spanish, something like that, there are definitely a lot of opportunities for it if you know where to look. And if you ever have any questions about French opportunities, feel free to go ahead and relay them to Ms. Kabelka, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Yay! Thanks, Sam. Thanks for taking the time. We're going to stop recording here. I will see you guys later.
Send the $5,000 in the mail.